Hey guys, good evening. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. You're tuned into, you know where. Yes, you're tuned into Inspirations for Your Life. And it is so great to be with you guys tonight. I want to let you know what I do. Well, here's what I do I help people tell a story that leads to them growing a more profitable and scalable business. So you can learn more about me, of course. And if you want to learn more about me, I have lots of great free content. And you know where you can go for that? I'll let you know. So as you'll see on the screen, right here in the top right-hand corner, you'll notice that a QR code just appeared. Go ahead and take your phone, launch the camera app, and just point over that QR code, touch the yellow lips. You'll get my link tree as easy as that. If you are not watching me, but you are listening only, then go to believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. All right, guys, let's get right into this master topic. I'm excited. Thank you so much for being here, whether it's 10 to 10 at night, 10 to 10 in the morning, 12 noon, 12 midnight, 3 a.m., 3 p.m., whatever it is, potato. Thank you so much for being here. All right, our topic is understanding the 7%, 38%, 55% rule. Series 2 means we're in the second year. Show 37, episode number 3. Yes. And we're talking about communication, understanding the 7%, 38%, and 55% rule. Remember, we said that 7% is actually the words you select. 38% is the tonality. And 55% is the nonverbal. And we also said that when one or more is incongruent with the other, there's a chance that you're not actually communicating what you are saying in your actual speech. So that's really important, that the message is not what it appears to be. So let's dig a little bit into tonight. And so tonight I want to cover something, and that is nonverbal does not always dominate. So when one or more is in conflict, okay, it's important to note, okay? If they are not in conflict, can mean something else, right? So if there is a conflict, then the nonverbal can easily dominate. So it's a multi-pronged way that people communicate their emotions. That's what communication is. Now, it's only valid when there is a conflict between communication methods. That's the important thing to understand. Critical thinking. It's when one analyzes and observes facts, evidence, or arguments to form a judgment or a conclusion. There's something called second-order thinking or lateral thinking. Inspires people to consider all possibilities, do what no one else is doing, and think outside the box. So many people I talk to, well, they're not doing it that way, or they didn't do it that way, so we can't do it that way. So are you just going to jump on the bandwagon technique and not have your own brain? And that's kind of what you're telling me. You want to just jump on that bandwagon and hope that maybe that bandwagon is going to just lead you somewhere, but usually it'll lead you astray. I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that in our lives, we all tell stories. And it's the people that tell stories the best that are the most effective communicators. So again, some people will spend hours, they'll spend days, they'll spend weeks, months trying to figure out the right words. Does that mean words aren't important? No, but we don't want to put all of our emphasis. 93% of the communication message is not the words, okay? The other 38% and 55%, 38% is the tonality, how it's said. 55% is the nonverbal. Nonverbal. And so when we think about communication, everyone always believes that communication is as simple as a red, a yellow, or a green light. But you know what? It's not. It's not. And the reason it's not is because people are multifaceted. They do things different ways. You heard me. So when we say someone is communicating, did you know if you don't communicate, you're still communicating? kind of weird, but it's the truth. If we don't communicate, we are communicating. If we don't communicate, we are communicating. So how is it that somebody can miscommunicate? Well, that's a great question. Miscommunication happens because people are putting all their emphasis into the words and not into the tonality and not into their body language. Now, body language is usually pretty much automatic. Words are things we usually select based on our candor, based on our education level, how much reading we've done. 38% is how we say something. How we say something. How we say something. What does that mean to you? I think it comes down to the fact that people sometimes get a little bit, let's say, flustered. So they believe that they should just grab the meaning that first comes out. There's something called context, right? How about if I said something like, oh, no, let me give you a simple example. A simple example might be, I see. Now, I see is pretty easy, but suppose I say, I see, or I see. There's a difference between I see and I see. That I see is more like an arrogant, kind of like sarcastic I see. So, why is it that people get so tongue tied when it comes to words? Not words, but how we say things. I think it's because a lot of people are in a rush with life. They're in a rush. Why are they in a rush? Because they feel that if they can just skip ahead, everything will be fine. I think if we just slow down and we enjoy the cup of coffee or the tea or the beverage or our dinner, then I believe that we're able to connect. Remember, I said in communication, we require a sender and a receiver, right? So, what does it take for proper communication? So, for proper, what I'll say, effective communication, we have to have a sender and a receiver, and the receiver then becomes the sender, and the sender becomes the receiver. Many times people get lost because of emotions. They lose their focus. They're not engaged as a listener. They're not paying attention to nonverbal signals. How many times have you been in a conversation? Okay, maybe you do this yourself, and you really don't want to talk anymore. Like you want to get away from the conversation. So what do you start doing? Oh, okay, well, that sounds good. And you start turning your feet. And they're like, oh, okay, one more thing. I just want to share this thing. And then it's like, okay, that's one more thing. But then they keep going. And you turn your feet. It's like they don't get the hint that you got to go. You don't want to just come out and say, hey, I got to go. So you start walking and you literally turn your back. Like, oh, and by the way, okay, yeah, we'll talk to you later. And then you just finally just walk away. And people are like, well, why were they so rude? Well, they were giving you signs that you needed to like cut it. And you just were being so rude, thinking about all of yourself that you weren't paying attention to the nonverbal. That's powerful. That is extremely powerful. And effective communication is not something that just happens in our childhood. It's not just something that happens in personal life. It's not just something that happens in business life. Communication happens all the time. If we're not communicating, we are communicating. We have to consider our audience. We have to practice active listening. We have to make the message very clear. We have to make it concise, and we should be compassionate about it. And it should be something the other person can get a sense of, whether they're a visual person, an auditory person, or a kinesthetic person. That's why whenever I tell a story, I always start out with things like, yeah, it's Jim. And I can just see, I bet, Jim, you can probably just see yourself with this solution running your company, because I know that once you hear from the people how efficient and profitable it's making your company, you're just going to get this sense that you made the right choice and feel good. That's powerful. So you always have to remember to talk to everyone's, I call it KVM, kinesthetic, visual, auditory modalities. That is a key in anybody's life. It's a key. And if you can express how to communicate effectively, more people are going to pay attention to you. Do you know that less is more? If you say less words when you're with someone, they're going to perceive you as very intelligent, very, let's say, well-rounded, just because you took that genuine interest, which we've learned from Dale Carnegie. He said the two smartest things that people should do is to learn how to say someone's name, because everyone likes to hear the sound of their name sound said perfectly. And they love it when people take a genuine interest in them. Not for false reasons, but to take that genuine interest. So people often ask me, John, how do you feel good communication? And that's a loaded word. I think the way you feel communication is you're not stressed. You're starting to feel your shoulders drop a little bit. You're starting to become interested in the conversation. You are starting to get, let's say, insights with your mind on where you should go next. Another good thing about communication is when people know that you're listening, so you're not, oh, okay, well, I'm not like trying to fight, like what I'm going to say next. They can tell you're listening, because when they finish speaking and then you say something, it's not like it was just held and you weren't listening. People can tell when you're listening. So you might be asking me a great question. How can people tell I'm listening? Well, it's an interesting dance. Okay? There's something called fake listening, and people get upset when you fake listen. A good test of this, to see if you're really connected with the other person, is watch what happens when you move. Does the other person move with you? If so, it's a good sign they're probably connected with you. If they don't, then they're probably fake listening. And fake listening is oftentimes done by other people because they believe they're trying to be polite, but they're not. They're trying to lead you on. In doing hypnosis, without getting to all the techniques, we do a technique to find out if somebody's paying attention or if they're just placating us. And if I can see that they're not paying attention, they're placating us, I said, okay, we're done. And so there could be lots of reasons for that. Maybe they're scared and they say, okay, that's okay. If you don't want to do it, it's fine. If you want to try again, that's fine. But you're not doing the technique. Yes, I am. No, you're not. And I'm not going to explain to you why you're not, but you're not. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. Communication is effective. To be an effective communicator, you must understand the 7%, 38%, 55% rule. 7% is what words you choose. 38% is what tonality, how you say something, and the 50 some percent is very, very important, right? That 50 some percent is very, very important. That 55% is the body language and nonverbal. I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It has been an amazing privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to be with you this fantastic evening. I hope you'll like, love, support the channel. Comment below, tag your friends, colleagues, and associates. Share this out with everyone you know on social media. Go to BelieveMeAchieve.com. Click on the link, help keep our content free. Make the choice to buy my team and I a cup of coffee, a bowl of fruit, or a scrumptious bowl of desserts. Either way, we're going to be grateful. Those pennies and dollars will invest into new hardware, new technology, new equipment, new software, even new facilities to give you the most jaw-dropping, motivational content to empower you to have one of the most amazing lives that you ever dreamed possible. All right, guys, have yourself an amazing rest of your evening. And you know what? I'm actually going to see you guys pretty soon, tomorrow. Remember, effective communication starts with you, and then you're able to communicate effectively with others. Have yourself a great night, everyone, and I will catch you tomorrow. Be well. Take care.